Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and another episode of Angie's Tangents. Today's episode is going to be very interesting because I haven't really heard anyone else talking about this, and I only very recently had like an epiphany about it. But I wanted to do this episode because I feel like it has been sitting on my heart for quite a while, and I feel like I need to make this video as well as a sort of reminder for myself, because whilst I do enjoy like sharing my ideas and engaging in discussions with people, I also like watching my sort of videos back as a sort of like visual diary. And today is going to be an episode about learning ikhlas, which is letting go without losing faith. And it's going to be a very interesting topic because I don't want to make it super religious and preachy, because I myself am also not interested in listening to that. But I do want to make it about my experiences when it comes to faith and what ikhlas means to me. So yeah, let's get started. So before I get into this, I do want to explain something really briefly, and again, this is my interpretation of it, so if you have a different interpretation, please let me know. But it's for people who aren't Muslim and aren't familiar with the concept of ikhlas, and I wanted to do it to kind of create a basis of understanding and also the foundational concept of what I think ikhlas is. So ikhlas is often translated to something like sincerity, letting go, or trusting God, but I don't feel like those translations fully capture what it actually feels like to live with ikhlas, because ikhlas isn't just about being calm or accepting things. It's about doing things with pure intention, and at the same time letting go of your attachment to the outcome. And ultimately, hearing this, it sounds quite simple, you know, you intend to do something, you kind of let go and you trust God on whatever the outcome may be, but it's a different experience when life actually asks that of you. So a couple of days ago, I was actually on a call with one of my best friends, Lydia, and for context, Lydia is Christian and I'm Muslim. And whilst on the call, we were just reflecting on so many things this year in our lives that have happened in ways that we could have never predicted, whether that be good or bad. And we were talking about things that, you know, didn't make sense at that time and honestly still don't, and things that have changed how we saw ourselves, how we saw the world, how we interacted with other people. And some of it was painful and some of it was beautiful. And one of the things over the last few years that I feel like really resonate within my soul is the fact that everything's a win when the goal is to experience. And I know, you know, you might hear people say it, but I truly believe in not labeling anything as inherently bad or good, because I am, one, a serial optimist, and two, I also believe that there's a silver lining in everything. In every perceived failure, there is always something that can be taken out of it. So that is just my little info. And during the call, I said something without really thinking, and it kind of stuck with me for the rest of the day, and honestly still stuck with me now. And I said, isn't that the point of faith? To trust in something that we can't fully understand or predict. And when I said that, Lydia screamed period, which I knew I ate with that, but it also clicked for me. That is what ikhlas has been teaching me all along, you know, for 25 years of my life. That is the point of ikhlas and the point of faith. Ikhlas sounds so simple when you hear it growing up, because I feel like the three sort of pillars of that teaching is to be sincere, to let go, and to trust God. But I feel like when life really asks that of you, it becomes something else entirely. For me, it's something that your body resists or your mind negotiates with, or it's something that your heart doesn't always agree with. And I think from personal experience, that's why I always struggle with the execution of ikhlas and intentionality, because we're wired as humans to want control, to always predict situations. You know, we want clarity, we want answers, and we want to know if we do something right, then we'll always get the outcome we want. And we love predictability. And I think honestly for me, the need for wanting to control things even more is the fact that I grew up in an environment that was very, very unpredictable. So naturally, my nervous system learned to look for evidence or tangible things that could guarantee my safety, and to hold on to things that, you know, feel certain, even if it no longer serves me. Because certainty feels like safety, and letting go or not being able to predict what's gonna happen feels like risk. And even now, I still notice it in small ways. Like when I'm driving, sometimes I get intrusive thoughts, and that's what it is, just intrusive thoughts. But sometimes I get intrusive thoughts like, oh my god, what if I actually like crash or veer off, or what if someone hits me? And you know, it's small things, because obviously it doesn't hinder, the thoughts don't hinder me to the point where I can't drive. But it's just not nice to, you know, constantly feel like someone has it out for you. And I just find it funny because I've driven alone for years, and I've even driven like only half an hour, but I've driven from Sydney to Melbourne and I'm still here. But even with all that evidence, there is still a part of me that wants control, that wants to anticipate everything and doesn't fully trust the unknown. The part of ikhlas that feels more accessible to me is intention, because intention is something that I can control, and it's something that I can anchor myself in. For example, when I give sadaqah, which is giving back to charity or people in need, and if I give purely with the intention of doing it in the name of God, that feels like ikhlas, because I'm not expecting anything back, and I'm not calculating what I'll gain from it or attaching my worth to the outcome. And there's something that's so peaceful with that, and something that makes my heart feel so calm, because it removes the pressure of needing something in return and reminds me that not everything in life is transactional. The part of ikhlas that I'm still learning about and coming to terms with is detachment, because I think detachment is where it becomes real. Because it's not just letting go about outcomes, it's also letting go about things that you love. This one time I was listening to a Brittany Broski podcast episode, and on an episode, I don't remember which one, but on one of the episodes she was talking about her interests, and she said that, I don't know where she got it from, I think she got it from a book or from someone else, but she came across a quote that everything that I've ever loved and had to let go of has claw marks on it. And I felt that on a way that I've never felt a quote feeling like. And I think the reason why I really resonated with that is because, one, I do think that I'm feral. Because I think that's how I experience a lot of things that I've had to learn how to let go in my life. You know, things that I tried to control the outcome, or things that I held on so tightly, or things that I try to keep the same. And I think a lot of it is very layered and varied. And some of those things include where I thought I'd be at the age of 25, or losing my grandparents, or even getting my heart broken for the first time when I was 22. Like, there's always this immediate instinct to grip and to hold on to something and not let it slip away. And funnily enough, ikhlas is asking me to do the opposite. You know, to open my hands and to let go, even when it hurts, or even when I feel like I can't. And I think that's why for the longest time I misunderstood what ikhlas was and what it meant, because I thought letting go meant not caring or being unaffected or moving on quickly. But that's not what ikhlas is. Ikhlas doesn't ask you to feel less, because if anything, it asks you to feel everything. To acknowledge how much something or someone meant to you and still release your attachment controlling it. I feel like ikhlas exists in this really uncomfortable but interesting space between faith and control, because you still have desires, you still have dreams, and you still want certain things to happen, but you're also learning to loosen your grip, to not force outcomes, and to not panic when things don't go according to plan. And that's honestly why I feel like it's so terrifying sometimes, because you don't really get taught about it, and if you do, living it is an entirely different experience. Because control feels like safety, but faith and ikhlas requires you to exist and to navigate that emotion without that safety. And as someone who believes in spirituality and faith coexisting in the same space, this is where I think ikhlas and manifestation actually intersect in a very interesting way. Because I still believe in having conviction, and I still believe in knowing what I want and visualizing it and working towards it. But I feel like ikhlas shifts the energy behind it. It removes desperation and removes any unhealthy attachments attached to it. And it allows me to believe in something that is meant for me without needing control in how it comes into my life. And I know I say this so easily, and it's easier said than done, but I've only very recently had that shift in mindset. And I think that's the balance that I'm still learning. I don't think ikhlas is something that you achieve once and then you're done, because I think it's something that you will always continuously return to. It's something that you live as and you will continue to live with over and over again. Because if you keep growing and you keep expanding your consciousness and your experiences as a person, life will keep giving you new situations, you know, new uncertainties and new things to let go of. And some days, like today, I feel really grounded in it. And other days, like last week when I was the mayor of Tweak City. Speaking of, shout out to Girl Set making the song of the year, Tweak. It's still my most listened to. I think last week I listened to like 200 hours of it, which is seek help. And other days I feel myself gripping again and wanting answers, wanting reassurance, and wanting things to go my way. And I think that's okay, because you can't expect to constantly be perfect and on top of those beliefs when you have spent a majority of your life believing in something else. Because although I think it's frustrating, it is just the human experience. And when I experience that, I get to remind myself that what I'm experiencing is human. I think ikhlas isn't about not caring. It's about caring deeply without clinging. It's about showing up fully and reminding yourself that you are enough as you are, and that a higher power, whether that be, you know, your spirit guides or God or, you know, the universe, is always looking out for you. And it's trusting that even when things don't make sense, and even when things don't go the way you hope, and when you feel lost, you're still being guided somewhere. And maybe that's what faith really is. Something that you don't have all the answers to, but also something that you're okay with. If you're trying to find this out too, I want you to remember that you're not alone. I'm still learning too. And I think it's a more common experience than we're told. So that is it for the episode today. Makeup is done. Eats every time. I know I do the same look over and over again, but I'm trying, guys. It's just, I'm not gonna walk out with like purple eyeshadow because all I wear is literally black. So maybe next time. But I hope you know that you're not behind for only figuring this out now. And I want you to know that you're not alone, because it's something that I'm still learning as well, and something that I am really trying to drill into my head. I feel like it's drilled into my head, but just my nervous system is like, no. So she needs time to adjust. But I'm really glad you're here. This is honestly a topic that I feel like really has been on the back of my mind, but I never really had words to convey it. But I hope that I did it somewhat justice, and I hope that you can take this and reflect on it as well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you also liked today's video. I know it's a bit different, and I purposely didn't want to make it too preachy because I also don't really enjoy that sort of content. But I hope this has hit you in a way and made you reflect on some things that you never really, that never really came to the front of your mind. But I hope I've done it justice, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. And yeah, and so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for spending time with me, and I hope you enjoyed it again. And if not, I am grateful that you chose to spend your time with me. And so I hope this has given you a different perspective on what ikhlas means and how you carry that feeling of ikhlas moving forward. And again, it doesn't have to be exclusively for Muslim people, but I hope you are also feeling what I'm feeling. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video again. Consistency is a huge thing for me. This year, I'm really trying to be more consistent with every aspect of my life and be more disciplined. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'll see you next week.